whatever sound you make, whatever magical word, you did something and I pay you. Did you guys watch the Dopamine Project?
Nope.
Oh, you guys, seminar's over. Did you read the bet? My students don't do that. A piece of steak?
I will do it. I have them all in my notes. I'll do it when I get home, but you just start
I want you guys to see what dopamine levels do on the variable reward system. It will all make sense what I'm saying.
We just don't have enough to generate.
A variable reward system is when a dog gets addicted to the behavior. It's Las Vegas has it down. When is that slot machine going to pay me? I mean, they've got it down. And they understand very well, how do I keep that person in the seat? Let's say the slot never pays out and you've been there for 2 days at that same machine. Vegas will lose you. They have it down to a science. How much to keep her there? No, this is a sidetrack note, sorry. That's pretty sleazy though. Did you know the room has more oxygen than normal? Like in Vegas, their rooms.
I did not know.
The casinos, so you feel good. There are some machines, I saw a whole thing on it because I was starting to get into dopamine with variable rewards and I wanted to kind of see how it worked. And some of the machines, I think all of them in this one casino, when you lose a little puff of some good fragrance that you can't even know you're smelling, comes out of the machine every time you lose. That is so evil. So you're feeling good. I was watching this and I'm like, wow. And then they want to know what sounds make people happy. So, Kay, I was giving the example of this. Britt and I, and this will be with marking the behavior.
Yeah.
Britt and I, my wife and I, were at a casino because I was doing a seminar at Charlie's place in Vegas, and they took me afterwards to I think it's called the Paris, it's one of the Eiffel Tower. On top, there's a restaurant called Gordon Ramsay's, and we're sitting there waiting for our table, and we're in the casino, and I'm like, I don't gamble, but I obviously know what it is. I know what a slot machine is. I just don't gamble. So I was watching this lady play the slot machines, and I tried not to be the creepy guy in the corner, but I said, I'm going to study human behavior for a minute. Trying to be slick, like hopefully she's not looking at me. I'm like, oh, sorry. So I watched her. She put $5 in the machine, pushed a button, nothing came out. She didn't get mad. $5 more. She put $100 in the machine. All these bells and whistles went off. Vegas clicked. They marked her behavior, and they gave her $60 back. And you know what she did? Cheered. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You just lost $40, and you're thrilled. I'm like, Brett, we got to get in the casino business. I don't know how in Delhi, but we got to forget dog training. I was like, I could not believe it though. But they marked her behavior. So whenever I mark my behavior, yes, I have to pay my dog. Because what happens if the bells and whistles would have went off and they didn't pay her? She's mad.
Yeah.
Hey, man, something. So if I mark my behavior on a young dog, that's different than the Dopamine Project that I was talking about. I want my dog to know I did that and that's why I got paid. So you have to have an active marker. Man, I just fed Slayer. Maybe in the afternoon I'll bring him out. I can bring him out, or any of the dogs, I can bring them out. They can be laying here and I'll say, yes! And you'll see them pop up, pay me, pay me. So we do something called click and release, which means click and break behavior. When I say, yes, I want you jumping up, I won, yes, pay me. And you'll see them actually start molesting me, like pay me, or food or toy, just start jumping and paying me. If I say yes, and my dog keeps sniffing, I'm like, you do not have an active marker. Either your dog does not understand the marker, it's too blasé, and whatever your reward you have to build for the drive, whether it's food, whether it's toy, you have to build it because it's not active enough. But then we have a marker that means stay in behavior. So if my dog's on a long down example I was giving, and I'm over there by the Nook Shook sign, and my dog's staring at me perfectly, ignoring the dumbbell being thrown, and I say, yes, what's my dog gonna do? Break and come to me. Because they break behavior, like pay me. Which maybe I would do it sometimes. Not a lot in long down, that's dangerous. So I say food, I actually use the word food, and they know that's their marker, but don't break. And I come up to them and I pay them. Or toy, and I pay them. But that means stay in behavior. I would say 90% of the time I'm marking behavior. No, 95% is break behavior with either a spin behind like we were working on yesterday, but you guys have to have an active marker. Now there is something called a bridge. A bridge means keep doing what you're doing, your marker's coming. Our bridge word is good. Our no reward marker means you've offered a behavior, it's the wrong behavior, but it's not what I was asking for. I'm not going to correct you. Nope. So the example I gave, I think I was talking about Johnny in school with math, right? If I ask Johnny what's 3 times 3, and he goes, I know, teacher, 6. You don't lambaste Johnny. You say, nope, 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 nope. Count the rows, 3 rows and 3. 9, yay, cupcake, everybody's happy. But if I say to Johnny, what's 3 times 3, and he flips me off, now I'm going to break your little freaking finger. That's a different response than 6. So if my dog wants to go attack your dog, I'm not going to be, nope, no cookie until you're done attacking me, no. I'm going to say phooey, my hard negative reward, and I'm putting my foot in my dog's rear end. I'm very gentle when my dog's working with me. Very gentle. I would never correct on confusion. That didn't make sense. I never correct for the dog not wanting to be with me. Now there's an infraction in the relationship. I want to know, let's talk about motivation. Why aren't you wanting to? My corrections are for fine-tuning tools, and usually when I correct, no one even knows I do. If you're correcting right, well, I have corrected, like I told you, the Slayer that one time when he came. I have corrected big. But most of the time, you won't even know. Their tail's still happy. I'm just communicating. So when I say correction, your dog, I mean, there's all kinds of corrections. I had a little female Malinois Luca. Her correction was this: no. You see her, sorry. And she had those big round, okay, come here, baby. So I kind of spoiled her a little bit. If I would have done that to that Roddy that I have Slayer, no. He goes, that's it? Okay, Slayer's in charge today. I would have to correct the 2 different dogs completely different. So when I say in my training, I'm very pragmatic, I am not joking. I love that phrase that Dr. Phil said when he first started, back when he was like normal. How's that working for you? I love that phrase. I would probably not go to a marriage counselor that's been divorced 5 times. I probably just wouldn't. So I always tell people to evaluate the trainer's dogs. Joel, let me see your dogs. Okay, you got it. But when people have these theories and they're not working, I won't get into political discussions, California, but if it's not working, why are we doing the same things? It doesn't even make sense. Like, so if Sue and I were talking about this yesterday. If I disagree with the politicians in San Francisco, but San Francisco is clean and thriving, I'm like, well, I disagree, but continue on. Go for it. It's not working. So when I see people with their dog, and this is how I do it, I'm like, is it working? No. Yeah, it's probably getting to the definition of insanity. So I will tell you, these things will work. You cannot go wrong with hand feeding. It's impossible to go wrong with hand feeding. It's impossible to go wrong with great relationships, taking your dog for walks. It's impossible. Now, when you start getting into the negative forms, corrections, you can ruin a dog if you don't know what you're doing. The problem is, like I said, the positive world is almost becoming cultish. And all these things are up for argument discussion, because I don't know everybody's theories here. But it's almost become cultish. Like if you correct your dog, you got Satan in your heart. And I'm like, show me a pack animal that doesn't correct with it. I don't even know horses. But when I was a kid, I used to rope, and I saw horses correct each other. I saw it pretty good. Like, hello. Any pack animal corrects with another pack. Lions. Oh my. Actually, there's one lion, because I obviously watch a lot of animal things. So this was hard to watch. These little cute lion cubs, they looked like they were 10 weeks old. And the new male killed the old male, so there's new genetics in this line. And he starts trotting up to him, and you see them like running. He just grabs one by the neck, shake, kill him. And I'm like, no, run, little cub, run! But there's new genetics in town. And I was like, come on, little guy, make it to mom, make it to mom. But there's a correction, there's new things, and there's always going to be something dominant. That's where UC Davis has these studies. There's no such thing as pack hierarchy. I'm like, I don't care what your study is. I don't care who gave you the grants. You're wrong. I don't care your science behind it. You're wrong. You go to any ranch where there's 8 feral dogs, I'll throw a bone over the fence. I'm like, the black and white one's in charge. Guaranteed. I see it right now. I'll tell you there's pack hierarchy. Then there's also, they say there's no such thing as a hard dog as one of them. I'm like, what? So you don't, I have 4 children. I won't mention my daughter Carson's name. She was the most stubborn child I've ever seen in my life. Then I had some compliant children. But they're all different. I never look at one dog the same as the next dog. They're different. Their personalities are different. But when I say you can't go wrong, go back to that dating phase. So, Vicki and Kay, the example I gave yesterday was, I always tell people, go back to dating your dog. So, hand feeding. So Britt and I have been married for 30, coming up 33 years. If I would have picked her apart on the first date or vice versa, there's no second date. Like, Britt, why do you eat like that? No second date. But after 33 years of marriage, she get on to me pretty hard. Joel, what were you thinking? That really hurt my feelings to do. But there's been a long relationship. I don't correct my dog until we have this great dating phase, until we like each other. So remember when I talked about the 3 rooms with the electric collar, the yellow light, that don't shoot the messenger. I am not condoning this next study. I'm not condoning it, so don't get mad at me. They did a study on migrant workers in California, in this area actually, in the 70s. And they wanted to see which yielded the most peaches. So group A, they paid them at the end of each tree. Group B, the end of a row. Group C, the end of a 20-acre parcel. And I did a research paper on this. Group D was the end of harvest. So the guys picking peaches at the tree, he had a little bag. They came by and they weighed it and put 15 cents in it, whatever it was, 20 cents. Then at the end of the row, they measured them, came by and put money. Do you know what group yielded the least amount of peaches? The end of the tree. The end of the tree, like 15 cents. That was a big tree. The second was the end of harvest. The reward's too far away. They couldn't see, like 3 months away or whatever. That was the second. The most peaches were the end of the row, and the second was the 20-acre parcel. So like I said, not condoning the study. In a trial, let's say Jane is my ball person. I'm getting my critique right here. And Joel, that's your score. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it. I go behind. Jane has my ball by the pool. He hands it to me. My dog didn't see it. Spin behind, and we play back there. She is probably the most important person in my trial, is after the trial. My dog just said, I don't know why I got paid the end of harvest today. It's just, we did all this stuff, and I got paid at the end of harvest. Guess what my very next training is on Monday? I take basic position. My dog's looking at me. Spin behind, yes, play. The end of the tree. I'm going to erase that big harvest one. Most of my training is the end of the row. What would that mean? What would that look like? Maybe on my change of pace I pay. Maybe in the group I pay. Maybe I do my moving sit, come back and pay. Maybe I pay on the front and finish on the recall. So that's most of my training. What would the end of a 20-acre parcel? I'm not paying on the front half, but my first payment is going to be on the flat retrieve. You want to make sure that your dog needs to work sometimes, once in a while, at the end of harvest. I wouldn't do it all the time. You're going to lose motivation. So you want your dog. Okay, who tracks here?